One of those red pill things you've probably heard about is this concept of
Frame.
You know, whenever you're talking to a girl, there's a frame battle going on, and either you're buying into her frame or she's buying into your frame, but whoever controls the frame, they have the power. So for example, maybe she's trying to make you jealous and she mentions another guy, like, oh my God, you should meet my coworker. He's so funny and cool. Well, if you get insecure and you're like, your coworker, you haven't told me about him. Who's he? Or like, yeah, sure, I'll meet him. Well, you're inside of her frame now, man. But if you just laugh and you're like, yeah, cool. By the way, blah, 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 blah. And you just don't give it any power. Well, you're demonstrating that, look, my frame is stronger than yours. Any little things you try like that, I'm just gonna brush them off. The point is, most guys realize that this dynamic exists. But what most guys don't realize is that the real frame battle, it has nothing to do with women. The real frame battle is happening right here, 24/7, 365 days per year. And if you're not aware of it, you're man. You've already been losing. And this has to be the most overlooked hard skill that every top performing guy has in common. They're aware of the competing frames that are happening inside of their head, and they know how to manage them so that they don't manage you. And I know this might sound a bit abstract, so rather than talking about it, I want to walk you through 3 specific times in my life there was a frame battle happening in my head. Some of these I won. To be honest, some of these I lost. But that way you can see how this is happening in your life right now. So let's begin with a frame battle that I lost. This happened earlier this year, actually. Some of you might be aware of it, but I've had a history of lower back pain in my life. And earlier this year, it was getting worse and worse, but I thought, I could just push through it like I always have. So I kept training hard. I kept doing everything. And then all of a sudden, it snapped. And I had a already herniated disc, but it fully ruptured. It completely compressed my S1 nerve to the point that I could not put any weight on my left leg. It was 10 out of 10 pain. I could barely get out of bed to go to the bathroom. I was f***ed. I'd never felt anything like that. So I got an MRI done, and I had to get a back surgery, a micro discectomy done. I've never had surgery, man. The frame that I fell into was, I'm screwed. Like, I've done irreparable damage to my back. I'm so stupid. Why didn't I realize this a few months ago and back off and go to a PT and get this dealt with? Now I got to get surgery, and my back's never going to be the same again. Like, I'm so stupid. I f***ed myself. And that's the frame that I was operating in for some weeks leading up to that surgery, until I reframed this in my head and I specifically chose a different frame. And it wasn't the stereotypical, this is going to make me stronger and I'm going to bounce back stronger. Yeah, I tried telling myself that, but I didn't believe it. So the frame that I selected was, look, over the past 10 years, I've worked hard. I've built this YouTube channel. I've built these different businesses. I've, gone on these adventures with my wife. I've traveled the world. And for the first time, I can give myself permission. I can see this as an opportunity to relax physically and mentally. And when I chose that frame, all of a sudden, I wasn't angry anymore. I was able to sit in this bed calmly, get the work done that I could do. I had a different perspective on my life. All of a sudden, my priorities in life became clear. My goals changed. And it was a really, not relaxing, but a very important, peaceful time that otherwise I never would have had. And by the time I got the surgery done and I recovered and I started PT, I was in a really strong mindset to bounce back and actually come back stronger. And y'all have seen that in the videos. I'm back to lifting full strength. I've got almost all my muscle mass back. I'm hitting 360s on the wake surfboard, bro. But I only made it through that dark time by winning the frame battle. Now, the frame battle does not only happen when you're going through a tough time or a setback. It also plays a massive role if you're at a point in your life where you're considering taking a big risk and going for something. So if we rewind back to 2020, when the lockdown happened, this YouTube channel was already growing, man. I'd already started to monetize it a bit through sponsorships. We had done the first Edge lifestyle clothing drop, which, I think I invested like $5,000 into some t-shirts and tank tops, which it was a little bit scary, but I was pretty sure that I could move those. And even if I had to discount them, I could at least get my money back. But then all of a sudden I was facing this big risk. because I'd always released, like every basic fitness influencer, a new training program every 6 months, and usually it was a PDF or a website you could log on to and you could see the exercises. But I was like, man, what if I built a platform, like a custom application that didn't just have the workouts in there, but it actually adapted to the user, and based on the progress you were making, it changed your workouts. So I started talking to different companies, and some of them, they build apps for influencers, and they were like, yeah, we can build you this app. But they didn't want to do any of this custom functionality. They're like, no, we already built the app. We'll just put your videos in there. I was like, man, that's not going to work. And then eventually I talked to this development company that's in Germany, and they were like, yeah, we can build this out. We can do the UI design. We can even connect it to a food database so people don't need to use MyFitnessPal. It can all be in the same app. And I was like, this is fucking sick. And they were like, yeah, it's just going to be like $50,000. I was like, $50,000. Immediately I fell into this frame that I can't do that. I've never taken a financial risk like this. What if we build this app and only a couple people sign up for a monthly subscription? I can't lose. This isn't going to work, man. I can't do this. But it was one of those risks. You've probably felt this before, where even if you decide not to do it, it keeps coming back up. You're unsettled. You're like, maybe there's something inside of you that tells you this is a risk that I'm supposed to take. So eventually I had to find a new frame. This is the only thing that allowed me to take that risk. I found the frame that, look, this, even if it's not an instant success, it can at least be a platform that now every time I release a new program, I can release it on that platform. It'll make my life easier going forward. And even if we got to grind this shit out for the next few years, I think I can slowly make that money back, worst case. And even if everything goes to shit, this is going to be the craziest training app that I can use myself, and I'll enjoy it. And that frame is the only thing that gave me the confidence to pull the trigger. And here's the part that's absolutely insane. After about 8 months of developing the app, testing it, documenting the whole thing on YouTube, we released it. And within the first 24 hours, we already made back those $50,000. My mind was blown, bro. And since then, Beastly's grown into an app that's helped over 100,000 guys stay consistent and finally transform their bodies. Now, if you're watching this and you still don't feel locked in at the gym, or you're still not proud of what you see in the mirror when you take your shirt off, that is why I built the Beastly app. When you download it, you take a quick 60-second body assessment. Then the app is going to build a program based on your schedule and your goals. And you can always step in the gym with confidence because it's going to walk you through every workout step by step, always suggesting the optimal weights and reps for every exercise. When you're crushing it, it pushes you harder. And when you hit a plateau, it's going to intelligently know when to pull back. And now with version 3.0 we dropped this year, it even uses AI to track your macros automatically. So you can finally stay consistent with your diet and actually see those results. And that's not even mentioning the smart analytics that track your gains and hold you accountable. And the best part, if you scan that QR code on the screen or click that first link in description, you can download Beastly today and get a free 7-day trial to test out the entire app. You got nothing to lose, man. Seriously, just give it 7 days. So we've talked about frame battles when you're going through a tough time or taking a risk. But probably the most important frame battle that all of us are going through, as you're watching this video, you're going through it right now, is the frame of who you are and what your identity is. So for me growing up, the frame I had for myself was that I was a very intelligent, capable kid, but I was very shy in social settings, and that was something that was going to hold me back. But I could just, I could work a career, keep my head down, and I could live a good life. But it might not be the exact life that I dreamed of. Then through years of self-improvement that y'all have seen on the channel, from approaching girls to making YouTube videos to traveling to taking different risks, I crafted a new frame for myself day by day that I'm a risk taker, I'm an adventurer, I'm a man on a mission to grow. And that's who I've seen myself as for years now. And then earlier this year, of course, I had my daughter, 8 months old now. It's truly a blessing, but I would be lying if I didn't tell you that when I had my daughter, my life changed. traveling became a little bit more difficult. Julie and I can't just pick up last minute and head downtown for a date night. And then also a few months after we had our daughters, when I had that back surgery and I got sidelined. And for a moment, I fell into this frame that, man, what if, like the stereotypical story we hear when a man, he's married and he has kids, like his life is over and the adventure is over. And now he's just living this life of quiet desperation, void of any energy, in any aggression, in any dreams, right? We've all seen older guys who are married with kids and it just looks like the life's been drained out of them. Now, luckily, I've done a lot of these frame battles. I've reframed a lot of situations in my life. So very quickly I caught it and I chose a new frame. I said, F that. Nah, man. My frame is that my life is even more purposeful now than before, because now I'm not just improving for myself. I don't just have to be a strong leader for myself and for my woman, but I have children who are depending on me now. So every action that I take, every risk I take, every bit of growth that I fight for has more purpose. It's a deeper mission. I'm not just providing for these people financially, but I have to be the leader. I have to be the support. I have to be the example of strength. And that's really renewed my inner drive at a point in which I was considering taking my foot off the gas and just cruising a little bit. Nah, man, screw that. I'm going to keep the pedal to the metal. I'm going to keep improving. So, bro, I got a question for you. An honest one that I want you to answer down in the comments. What is the frame that you've been operating under? Who is the story of who you are that you've been telling yourself? Because whether you think about it or not, there is a frame there, and that frame is dictating how you respond to every challenge in your life and how you wake up and move every day. And maybe you haven't been aware of it until now, but now you get to choose. It's a decision that you get to only you can make. It's a decision that you have to make. And the really scary thing is that if you don't deliberately choose your frames for yourself, they're going to get chosen for you. Sometimes it's by the people around you. Sometimes it's by just old expectations that you've had for yourself. Back when I wanted to quit my first job that I had in an office, it was so difficult because I was still operating in the frame that no, I have to get a career job and then get the next raise and the next raise and the next raise after that. Something in me wanted to step outside the box and go my own way, but I couldn't while I was still in that frame. I was going into that office every day, surrounded by people who were also trying to get the next promotion. I went home to the apartment I was living at, and my roommates were guys who were just trying to climb the corporate ladder also. And I didn't realize it, but that was the thing that held me back for so many years, was just accepting other people's frame as my own. It ends now. It has to end now for you. From now on, I want you to be ultra aware of whatever frame you're operating in so that you can know whether or not that's actually helping you. And if it's not, well, you always have the power to reframe and to choose a different frame. And by the way, if you do feel alone right now, like you're on an island by yourself, and now you're aware that that might be holding you back, that's why we created Beast Nation, man. That's my private community where every week we do coaching calls, accountability calls. We do in-person meetups in the USA and Europe. That was built specifically so you can instantly plug into a tribe of men who will challenge you to have a stronger frame, and you will operate from a growth frame by default instead of feeling like you have to fight for every inch in your life. You'll have the crew behind you. Second link down in the description to see some testimonials for Beast Nation and join up now. That all being said, I hope this video was helpful for you. If you're serious about getting to that next level, then you need to watch this video next. The YouTube algorithm has recommended that one specifically for you. Click there to watch it now. If you're new to the channel, click down there to subscribe, as I release 2 new videos every single week and you don't want to miss them. I'll talk to you in the next video. Stay beastly.